Should Kris Statlander have beaten Ruby Soho in the last semi-final match of the Owen Hart Cup? That is something we are going to discuss today. We're going to kick things off with a Rampage review and go into SmackDown later. And as you can see, welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast review of SmackDown and Rampage. I'm Chopper Pete Quinnell. I'm not joined by my intangible co-host. No, I am joined by the one and only Sat Nyangi.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Last time I was here, we were making fun of Ronda Rousey's promo ability, but now we're back again to talk about Rampage, to talk about SmackDown. Yeah, so what's causing all this, Pete? What's going on here?
My goodness me. So this was on the Rampage main event. We had Kris Statlander versus Ruby Soho, which was the semi-final match to determine the finalists for Double or Nothing tomorrow, and we had Kris Statlander, who was obviously the replacement for Hikaru Shida in the tournament, who ended up beating Red Velvet to get to this spot here. And you had Ruby Soho, and the winner of this match was going to be facing Britt Baker in the final. And going into the main event, you had Ruby and Kris do the split screen promo that they always do on Rampage, and they had Ruby cut a promo and people were like, sure, okay. And then Kris Statlander cut a promo and you could hear the crowd, because this was a live Rampage as well. So the live Rampage is just hit different as a whole. Crowds are always more electric for stuff like this.
Course, yeah.
And as soon as Statlander cut her promo about like being the backup of the tournament and she's sick of being behind everybody's backs, and it doesn't matter if there's friends, enemies, anyone in her way, she's going to go over. The crowd just came alive. They were like, yes, Kris, yes, you're right. Let's do this. Let's go, Kris Statlander. Which then, when it got into the match, people were significantly more into Kris Statlander than they were Ruby Soho. Ruby ended up winning with a roll-up in the end after some really fun action going back and forth, some like big spots back and forth and near falls and all that. Soho managed to win, but the crowd were not happy with it. They started to boo a little bit. Ruby then cut a promo afterwards because Britt Baker came out on the stage and she was a little bit thrown. You could see by it because the crowd were booing her, and she was like, look, guys, I understand. Like, I get it. You guys really like Kris Statlander. I'm sorry, like she's my friend. I don't know. And you can tell she was a little bit off with the promo. And then she was saying that since Grand Slam, Britt Baker has been saying that you've got a receipt coming your way, and now I'm going to catch that receipt. It was just everything felt a little bit off because it just felt out of sync with what the crowd really wanted at the show, and they were like, you could tell they were a little bit disappointed at the end of this. What's your thoughts on this, Sat? Who do you think should have won?
Ruby Soho. I mean, the fact that Kris Statlander said that she was replacing someone, she was never in the plans in the first place. So as far as I see it, the crowd screwed themselves. They said that yeah, it's kind of like when you watch a film and you're like, where the ending's going. You know who the protagonist is. It's Ruby Soho. This whole tournament was designed to put Ruby Soho back in the spotlight. Because if it was any other person, if it was like, for example, poor Red Velvet winning the match over Kris Statlander, I would understand the hoopla. But it's Ruby Soho, who's a fan favorite. She's been a fan favorite since her time as Ruby Riott in the WWE. She's someone people have always said they've never given her opportunity to shine. They've never given her opportunity to show what she can do. And the moment she does show you what she can do, the moment she does get the shine, the fans are booing. But it's only one portion of the crowd booing. It's the Las Vegas crowd. They are not an indicative of what myself and everyone else feels. So for me, it's quite I feel like people were overblowing it. It's like, yeah, people had their hearts set on Kris Statlander, who until that promo, because she did the change, right? Because she was an alien in the beginning, then she blew out her knee because she had momentum, like in 2020, 2019, she had momentum, then she blew out her knee. And during that time period, they had more wrestlers, female wrestlers come in, and then she came back, she was still an alien, and they were inconsistent in booking her. She'd have great showings against Britt Baker, 6-person tag matches, then she would disappear. Then she was with best friends. Then she took out the contact lenses, and now she's serious, and I'm emo. It wasn't until this promo that I cared, because up until then, wow, Kris has changed her hair color and face paint, and she looks mean. And there was no motivation behind into that promo. And that promo is great. It's kind of like Stone Cold when you're like, I'm fed up of, the hustle and the grind. But it was not too little, too late, but it's not her time. Even though Tony Khan's got a history of giving originals the opportunity. You know, like if you came first, you get the opportunity to shine and do big things. That's meant to be Ruby Soho, even though Kris Statlander has been there longer. Kris Statlander can also go for the other championship, the TBS title. I mean, there's more than one title, and they can build off that groundswell support. But yeah, it's Ruby Soho all the way. To answer your question, Ruby. I mean, come on.
I mean, that is, I think, totally fair. I think especially because it's Ruby Soho. The thing is, I don't think people were necessarily against Ruby Soho in this match. They just really were for Kris Statlander because of that kind of like, you have something that's organic. It's kind of like that moment, you know, when Kofi Kingston in the Gauntlet match, for example, where Kofi was never part of any plans of any sort, but you just capture something, you capture a moment, and people just gravitate towards it and they go, now this is the guy we want to win. Screw everything that we thought before. This is what we really want right now. And there's times where you can really take that momentum and build something amazing out of it. And I think if they'd have, you know, somehow predicted this reaction was going to happen, or they called an audible and had Statlander win or whatever, I think fans would have been really surprised and amazed by it. But there would have been that portion of fans being like, that's another time Ruby Soho's been screwed. Because every single time she hasn't had her opportunity to get what she wants.
Bingo.
So I think it's the fact that it's Ruby Soho is the deciding factor in this, because I think if it was someone else, if it was maybe Statlander versus Baker to go to the final, and you had Statlander win over Baker, I think everyone would be like, that's amazing. That's an awesome call, because Britt Baker's had, you know, amazing title run and she's still like a really big deal and all that stuff. But it's the fact that it's Ruby Soho, and Ruby needs something. Ruby needs a big moment. And I'm assuming the Owen Hart tournament is going to be the thing for her. But it's just that it's so hard to tell when you're supposed to follow that momentum with, when something catches fire, when you're supposed to follow that train of thought and just keep that momentum going, because that can then build into something even bigger than what you had planned for this other person. So it's genuinely, it's a really hard thing to tell, but I'm hoping at the very least, Tony Khan will have paid attention to this, seen how over Statlander was and said, we need to do something with her. And he planned something big for her. Like you said, a TBS championship win, being the person to dethrone Jade Cargill.
Bingo.
I think that's amazing.
Bingo. Yeah. Because also you have to remember, Ruby Soho's like a veteran. She's been doing it for like over a decade. She's someone that deserves the opportunity that's coming to her. And Kris Statlander has always been a cult favorite in every iteration, whether it is Alien, Best Friends, even Emo right now. She's someone that has inconsistent booking, and that's why I'm like, not like it's not her time yet, but I feel like Ruby Soho is someone for months and months on social media, because we know Tony Khan, he reads social media. And even when Britt Baker makes that joke to Ruby Soho, go back to catering, because they legit have been underutilizing her. So the moment they're using her right, it's confusing. I liken it to when Rey Mysterio came out number 30 at Royal Rumble, when people wanted Bryan Danielson to come out. They were booing Rey Mysterio, not because they don't like Rey Mysterio, it's because they really wanted Bryan Danielson at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this situation is the same thing. It's just that at this show, at this moment, Kris Statlander won the fans over her promo. And the fact that she's been a day one person, AEW fans are, yeah, we're sick of them ex-WWE people coming over, taking their spot. Ruby never really had a spot to take in the first place. She's earning it herself. She's new to cutting promos in front of live crowds. She's new to having matches over 2 minutes in the ring. She's new showing her skill set. So Ruby's someone that deserves all the great opportunities coming to her. I just feel like the fans were against the decision, not Ruby herself, like you said. So yeah.
I think here's an idea I just want to throw out to you. And I'm not saying this is the case at all, but I've been guilty of this before, where I, as a fan, have really wanted something, and a similar thing has happened on TV, and I go, actually, it's not that good. Do you think there's a portion of fans who are like, yeah, we really want Ruby Soho to succeed, and then she's been given more time, and people are actually like, actually, I kind of like other people more? Do you think there's a section of fans that are actually like, oh, actually, I prefer Statlander to Soho. I've been really calling for Soho, but actually...
I feel like it's more to do with Ruby Soho's booking, because Besides the backstage stuff and the tag team matches, we don't really know her motivations. She gets treated kind of like Asuka gets treated in the WWE. You don't really get to know what's her POV, her motivation, why is she doing what she does. With Ruby Soho, she was plucked in as Tony Storm's backup because Tony Storm needed someone to go against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. So she was already piggybacking off a pre-existing storyline. She hasn't really existed on her own feuds, and I feel like she has suffered because of it. You don't see her often. People be making jokes. Go watch Dark. That's where Ruby is. So it's not Ruby's fault. She does the best with what's given to her. And you're right. Because of the way they're probably presenting her, there's probably more people that seem more exciting than her right now. But look at Jade Cargill. She gets weekly promos, which keeps her present. You don't often see her wrestle, but when you do, it's like a highlight. But she's always doing promos, backstage, whatever. Ruby hardly gets the opportunity, so you don't really know her character motivation outside of being in the ring, and which is not her fault.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't think Ruby is at fault in any of this at all. It is just like the circumstances of Statlander and the location and that crowd in that moment kind of thing. They just gravitated more towards her. So as a final question then, do you think Soho is actually winning the tournament overall, or do you think they're going to swerve it and give it to Baker again?
If they give it to Baker, I will smash someone's TV. Ruby should win because
someone's, not yours, just someone else's.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. You smash someone else's TV. So Britt Baker's already established. It'll be like the Roman Reigns effect of if you give too many things to one person, then everyone else starves. Ruby needs Britt Baker needs to share the wealth. She's already established. She's the top heel. Ruby winning from Britt Baker would give her the rub. And like you said, there's a receipt coming. So this is something that's been building since Grand Slam. So they've got a storyline thread, which they need to see through in the end. Because Tony Khan liking himself like a cinematic director. So this is Act 3 finale.
Yeah,
it's the end. So yeah, I hope Ruby wins, and I think she wins. I hope and I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I think she needs to win. I think more than anything, for her, for the rest of the women's division, for this story that they've been telling, it's just Soho's the right answer. I think at this point. Anyway, you guys should send in some Ultrachats. I forgot to mention that at the start of the show. Send in your Ultrachats. WrestleTalk.com/support. Send in a message. If you have any thoughts and feelings about anything on Rampage or SmackDown, let us know. And we're going to read out all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. We've got a few here from Hannah Allen that says, so I love AEW, no secret. I understand it's the go-home show, but they really killed that heat from the Soho Statlander promos. Statlander killed it. Absolute fire. It was everything. Just put that at the end of the pay-per-view preview. Stop burying women. Hashtag grr. Yes. I don't know if that's fair. I don't think women were buried in this. They main evented the go-home show before Double or Nothing. I think it was fine.
The word buried get used loosely around here. You know, the fact that Chopper Pete is reading the Ultra Chat doesn't mean I got buried. It means that it's his house. It's his house. He gets to do stuff that he does usually. No, I was using that as an example. No, I don't think the women were buried. The fact that they're main evented is also getting overlooked by that question, which everyone's entitled to, of course. But no, I don't think no one's buried. In fact, there's heat. The talking point of Rampage was the women, so that's yay. Hey,
yeah. I think I'm rereading it, and I think it was they did the promo, which everyone was really gravitated towards, and people were like, yeah, let's go, Kris Statlander, etc. And then they had the pay-per-view rundown before they went into the match. So I think maybe they were saying that they should have continued the momentum from the promo and just gone straight into the match rather than having that break in between, which I get. I don't think it's as big an issue as it looks potentially. But I can understand that.
Listen, they had to add in the Kyle O'Reilly match against Darby Allin, or I wouldn't have known.
God, there's so many matches on this card, Sam.
There is, and you'll have to review it. That's what you're saying. I have to stay up and look after babies, which is equally the same. Staying up late.
I need to watch it, and it's gonna be a really long show.
It's gonna be a fun show, though. I know. I think the adrenaline of watching a great show is gonna counterbalance how you're gonna feel on Monday.
I hope so. The thing is, if I was watching it with people, then I agree with you. But I am watching it by myself, which is not as fun. So there's that. We'll see how it goes.
You and your thoughts? What?
Me and my thoughts, we're best buds. Sometimes we don't get along though. This weekend's going to be one of those times. Hannah Allen again says, well, porcupines. Great. I've never heard anyone say that before. Post-match to the main event said it all. Do the work on the women's division. Even I find myself skipping on some matches because there's zero emotional investment. Please, please, please fix this AEW. The talent's there. Hashtag jam that jam. Hashtag LOW is fine. That is correct. I do agree. It's a larger issue with the AEW women's division, but I don't think this was an example of the women's division being bad, because I think they got a good spot on the show. They put on a really good match. This was all fine, and it built to the women's final in the tournament, which great.
There's no negative. It's kind of like when Sammy Guevara had negative reaction. There wasn't this big, oh my gosh, the men's division or the TNT division's in peril because their baby faces are not getting cheered. No, it's part of the course with wrestling. Now the women are getting that share of mixed reaction or reaction you don't expect the audience to have with you. And I think it's very, very exciting. So yeah, for me, it's all plus. It's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah. Tails P said, I was so confused when Kris said her friends left her because I forgot about Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. Without that promo, she was basically Mojo Rawley when he painted his face blue in the mirror for a couple of weeks.
Bingo.
I think she's very good. And I think that she's improved in the ring, especially massively since when she started in AEW. She's really good now, I think. And it's that intensity and the fire from the promo is what you wanted out of Statlander with like this character change. It's been, like you said, it's been a bit like mismatch between what's actually the new character other than a slightly different look. This actually was like, okay, I understand you now. You have a reason to be. I like this. And that has made people invested, which is great.
It goes back to say, it was the lack of promos of why we're here. If Kris Statlander got to do that promo weeks ago when the change happened, then you would have built the momentum to put on either that tournament or even TBS. It is a discrepancy with how much time women get or how they can improve it. I don't know, because I don't run a company. It's easy for me to spout my opinions, but like there should be ways in, like, people like Kris Statlander should get at least a promo time or find out what's her character motivation, like we did yesterday.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we'll get into reviewing the rest of Rampage now. We'll do the rest of your Ultra Chats later, so keep sending those into WrestleTalk.com/support. Rampage kicked off with Matt Sydal versus Bryan Danielson. And, okay, this is just a general thing for this episode of Rampage, but I did not think this was a very good go-home show, with the exception of the main event. That actually building like the women's final for the tournament. That's good. The rest of the show, I was like, these are just matches. These are just things. They're not really building anything on the pay-per-view. The Bucks match that they had, it was like, okay, that's building a thing. It's like an angle, but it didn't really feel like a go-home angle. And other stuff like this opener of Matt Sydal versus Bryan Danielson, it was like, okay, this is really fun. It's a very good match, and I'm really enjoying it. But like, what's it building for the pay-per-view? It's just giving me a showcase of Bryan Danielson, which, by the way, I love Bryan Danielson matches, and I love Bryan Danielson. But this just did not feel like a go-home angle at all. I don't know. This was a fantastic match. I love this, but it just didn't build the pay-per-view at all for me.
What I took away from the match was Bryan Danielson's leg. That was highlighted in commentary. Is his leg 100%? His leg okay? Yeah, so for me, I was thinking, is Bryan Danielson's leg going to play a part of the Anarchy in the Arena match? If not, then yes, you're right. This match was a waste of time. Because I feel like because that's the only reason why. That's what took off. Because I put down my notes how Bryan Danielson did a great rollover surfboard. That was good. It's a miracle no one blew out the knee. No, but yeah, all they talk about in commentary, because you had I would say Tempest, but Excalibur. You had Excalibur. Close enough. Both Moss guys. Yeah, you had Excalibur saying to William Regal, it's like, how's his leg? And Regal wouldn't really answer. And then Taz brought it up, and then Excalibur brought it up again. Oh, Danielson's knee, Danielson's ankle, Danielson's leg. So it kept on changing. That's what Danielson's leg, because they can't make their mind up if it's the knee or the ankle that's the problem. So for me, it's like Danielson's leg is the storyline reason why this match happened, because we're meant to think that he might be the weak link for that match.
Yeah,
potentially.
Which I I don't know if they needed this match to tell that story because they already had the thing when his leg got trapped. So just use that. You
Yeah,
know?
but the story was that was like real until it turned out it wasn't or whatever.
It's
It's
not at all. Yeah.
yeah,
Danielson's a genius for that work, by the way,
of
because he
course.
legitimately got his leg stuck, and then instantly was like, "Referee, come over. My leg is fine. Let's use this for an angle." And then he was like, he told the referee, like, get Hager to start stomping on my leg." And then you see the referee talk to Hager, who points at his leg, and then Hager starts stomping on his leg. It's like, that's well done, good improvisation. Anyway, yes, I totally agree with you. If this is going to play into something, it's good to kind of refresh it in people's memories that, like, oh, Danielson might have something up with his leg. But otherwise, I feel like you could have done this followed by either like a post-match angle, or this could have been Danielson versus someone from Jericho Appreciation Society to actually like build that a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this was a very, very fun match, and I really enjoyed it, but it just didn't hit quite what I wanted for a go-home show for Double or Nothing, is all.
But at the same time, you don't want the same people that you see on Dynamite on Rampage as well. Give him Matt Sydal reps in the ring. I mean, we don't really see him on Dynamite because Rampage is known as being a wrestling show where minimal storyline development happens. So for me, I didn't mind it per se, but because it's a go home show, I understand you wanted like an exclamation mark. But for most people, the exclamation mark was Dynamite, because the exclamation mark for Rampage was the women's tournament, because that didn't really get that much shine. Because if you watch Dynamite, because it's 2 hours, there's so many things going on, so you'll remember different key points. So Rampage was more or less tying up loose ends, including the promo we'll see later on.
Yes. Speaking of tying up loose ends, I guess we got the Young Bucks versus Taylor Rust and John Cruz. Taylor Rust, who originally debuted in Diamond Mine in NXT before he got released, it was cool to see him get some exposure here. The Bucks entered, and they were cosplaying as the Hardys, and they were really good at it, distractingly good at it. Yeah, it's really, really funny. And then they came out onto the ramp, were doing the whole Hardys entrance, you know the one, doing the Hardys music, all that stuff. And then suddenly they drop a little sheet. It's only freaking Gangrel that's just on the stage. I was like, okay, why is he here? It was pretty fun. He got to do his thing. You know, he drank the blood and spat it and did the Gangrel thing. It was delightful. Brandon Cutler then came out cosplaying as Lita. Very good. Big fan of that one. Very funny. And then the Bucks in this match were just being the Hardys the whole time. And they were doing some like comedy spots throughout this of like, you know, they went up to the top rope and were going, doing like the extreme thing. Then they go down to the second rope because the top rope's a bit too high. And then they just do like a little elbow and stuff like that rather than actually doing any big moves. But then in the end, they won with a Twist of Fate and a Swanton. This was really funny. This was good. This again was something that built the match. Don't know whether it counted as felt like a go home angle to me, but this is like a mid card match on the actual Double or Nothing card. So like this is fine, I suppose. It's just the Young Bucks calling the Hardys old, which is fair.
They're like LOD in 1997. But yeah, with the Young Bucks, you could tell when they were kids, they were probably cosplaying as Hardy Boys. It came,
100%.
You know, the ones when you're like, I've been practicing this my whole freaking life. Now I get to show it in live TV. Yeah, they're big time Hardy Boys fans. It shone through in this match. Gangrel appearing. It was like a throwback to the New Brood days when the Hardy Boys were part of the New Brood with Gangrel. And then you had Brandon Cutler, you know, with skimpy outfit, trying to be reminiscent of Attitude Era Lita. So yeah, it was a thing. Taylor Rust got to be in the ring. Good for him. Hopefully, you know, they do more with him. He's a talented individual. And yeah, it was a match. The Hardy Boys came out in the end. They shook hands with Gangrel, although they should have beaten him up because he did participate in this parody. But they saved him because he got his ass whipped.
Yeah, because the Bucks beat him up. So yeah, nice. It was really good. Oh yeah, that was another thing on the Bucks entrance. They had the Matt facts as well, so they had like all the different like aspects of the Hardys' careers and stuff. It was really fun.
I see SP3 in the chat. This guy's dropping bombs of knowledge. Shout out to SP3. That's my tag team partner.
That's what reminded me of the entrance thing.
Yeah, SP3 is the man. Yeah, every Wednesdays NXT 7 p.m. UK time. Delightful. I don't know American time. SP3 put the American times. I don't know.
What is it? That'll be 2 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
2 p.m. Eastern. That's how it is. We then had. Okay. Darby Allin then cut a promo saying that it was Kyle O'Reilly was the one that put Sting on the shelf. How dare you, Kyle O'Reilly? We should have a match at Double or Nothing, and if you don't accept my challenge, then I'm going to interfere in the Adam Cole match. I'm going to interfere in the Young Bucks match. I'm going to make all of the Undisputed Elite. I'm going to make their lives a living hell unless we have a match at Double or Nothing. Later on in the show, it gets announced it's official. Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly. This match does not need to be on Double or Nothing. There's too many matches.
that was the embodiment of the Ultra Chat being a bit too late in the chamber, and you have to let it out in the next podcast. That's what it felt like, right? So that's what it was. It's like, oh, we forgot to do some Dynamite. Let's shove this video and insert it here on Rampage. No one can tell a difference. There's no Kyle O'Reilly here to rebuttal and be like, no, man, or yes, man. I guess they needed a match for Darby Allin. It's like, Darby, what are you doing, man? Nothing. Just give you a match.
Like, it's fine if he's not on a pay-per-view. It's okay. Like, just, you don't need to, like, now, I think that's 13 matches that's now on the card, with including the other one that gets made later in this match. Spoilers, another match gets made for Double or Nothing on this show. It's just...
It could be in the buy-in. You never know. It could be a buy-in match at the end.
It could be a buy-in match.
There ain't much heat built on it. It's still, it's not marinated or cooked enough.
I think the buy-in is only half an hour, and they already have one match on it, so I don't think they could probably squeeze a second match into it. I don't know.
If they want to do
because
two.
With all the promotion they need to do as well, But anyway, after that, we got Max Caster versus Dante Martin. I have a really serious question.
Okay.
Why the Acclaimed and the Gun Club being together? Why is it so good? I don't understand why it's so funny, because I feel like there's some part of me that shouldn't like it, and yet they come out every time. I'm like, this is great. This is amazing. I'm having so much fun. It's just so funny, and I don't know why it's so funny. It's the same kind of thing where, like, Riddle has something that he can just make funny, even though the words he's saying aren't that funny. It's like the way he does it that makes it funny. I feel like it's the same thing with these guys, where I'm like, I feel like something is wrong about this and not funny, but I'm laughing all the same. This is just a really weird and awesome pairing that I did not see coming at all. They are really good.
Hat tip to Tony Khan, Booker of the Year, for making that happen. He must have saw chemistry. They may be friends backstage as well. I'm not too sure, but you're right. I feel like the Acclaimed, they didn't need the rub because they get quite semi-frequent appearance on TV. It was the AEW Crooked Little Boys and Billy Gunn that needed the rub because the undefeated streak's over. Last year they're predominantly in dark. Then they had a feud with Sting and Darby Allin. And then they faced FTR, so they were inconsistently used on TV. So by aligning with the Acclaimed, is giving them an opportunity to flesh the character, their character work and show their sense of humor. Great chemistry. The reason why it works is because the AEW Crooked Little Boys, the ass boys, the ass boys are corny. They're just two corny brothers who run to daddy. I'm gonna go to my daddy. That's like they play that up. And they claim they're super corny. So you just put two corny together, they're super, super extra corny. And I like it. I am a fan of the Acclaimed ass boys.
It's just so fun. And the entire entrance was like so long, and Max Caster did his rap, and then like both the ass boys tried to do the intro to be like Los Angeles. It's like they're in Las Vegas, and he goes, "That's the wrong Los Angeles." It's like you said the same one again. And then Anthony Bowens actually does the actual intro, and like Billy Gunn's got him in the wheelchair because he's being so fatherly to him. It's just all of these little bits are all just like so perfectly put together, and I don't know why it works so well, but it just does. We then had the actual match of Max Caster versus Dante Martin, which was fine. It was good. It was a fine enough match. And Dante won in the end with a nosedive. This was a solid.
I like what you said. Pete goes, and then the bell rang.
It was okay. It was fine. It was a good match.
Yeah,
nothing too crazy, but it was fine.
It was a standard TV match that didn't exceed its limits, and you didn't see Dante do his cool flippy stuff. You just saw Max Caster control most of the match. But yeah, it was a match. Hopefully it leads to a feud, because like you said, Rampage, the match has got to have some stakes. With some
Mm.
steak. Sizzle it. Steak.
Yep. And also, why is this on the go home show for Double or Nothing? I'm sorry, there's so many matches on this card. Can you not give more build to something?
Listen, people be complaining if we get double portions of Adam Cole saying he's overexposed, and where's jungle? Where's
give us a Jade Cargill thing? Her feud
Yeah.
with Anna Jay has been Anna Jay running out and being like, I have a crutch. And then Jade Cargill goes, fine, tag match, title match. I know what I said. Shut up, Sat.
It should be a tag match. Why not?
That's
it
been the whole build. Like,
Yeah.
you summon more to that, surely. Like,
my answer is it's Rampage. Like it says in the beginning, it's Rampage. That's what they do. They do matches.
Yeah. But just change it for the go home show. It's a live Rampage. Change it for the go home show. Come on. This was fine. We then got a video package for Cole versus Joe. I'm looking forward to that match. That should be a lot of fun.
I don't know who I want to win. That's
Me
yay
neither.
for the match, but I wouldn't want this to be the finale for the Owen Hart tournament, because I wanted someone, one of the younger guys or someone that's on the cusp to be in the final, especially against Adam Cole. I like Samoa Joe. He's one of the only new guys that started in AEW who they've booked consistently well, because guys like Keith Lee and Swerve, they have 50-50 win-loss records at the moment. But Joe has been dominant. But then again, if Joe started losing, we would be complaining that they're not treating Joe to the best of his ability. So he's like a double-edged sword with myself and some portion of people. I'm looking forward to the match. I don't know who I want to win. My mind is telling me Adam Cole. My heart's telling me Adam Cole. No offense. Joe's got a television title. See, Swerve. Joe's got the TV title. Give it to Adam Cole. He lost twice to Hangman Page. They're saying that Adam Cole's not as serious as he used to be. He's not threat. So this would be a great thing for him to brag about and shove in the undisputed elite that he's the true leader of the team. So yeah, Adam Cole.
I think that's a very good point. Yeah, totally. And the thing is, he could totally cheat to win. Adam Cole always cheats. He can quite easily do a low blow and get the win and whatever. And Joe will still be protective out of it to a degree.
Satnam Singh can go pow, and that's it.
That's all you need. That'd be awful. Don't do that. We then got an in-ring promo of Men of the Year. I really don't like anything they're doing with the TNT title scene. Scorpio Sky got a new belt, which was all gold. Solid gold.
This is what people have been wishing for, by the way. Pete, you don't understand. This has been a wish of the fans on Twitter since the moment he won the title, because you had Rusev with his Bulgarian title, which set a precedent for like, hey, OTNT champion need their own specific title. So people are saying, hey, if Scorpio Sky wins, give him a Lakers colored title. And bingo, here we have it. So yeah, this is a big moment, especially when they go to LA and that title comes out. The visuals, man. The visuals. That part was great.
Cool. Great. I'm glad he has a new belt. And then on the Titantron, it's Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti and Frankie Kazarian invading the American Top Team building. They steal some UFC belts and say, you want these back? Give us a mixed tag match at Double or Nothing. Let's add another match to that bloody card.
Why not? Because this has been one of the longer feuds of the company. So yeah, it deserves a blow off. Stop having Frankie hang out with that couple that do, make out a lot. Poor Frankie. Yeah, he can't go home to his hot wife, Tracy Brooks. He has to hang out with these two kids who's making out, stealing titles. So this is an opportunity for them to finally have a match so Frankie can separate himself from this weird, unholy alliance he has going on. Frankie's the only one that's kind of a babyface at the moment. Everyone else is kind of insufferable. So yeah, let's do it. The Elite Hunter, give him a match.
That's why, Sat, they shouldn't have a match at Double or Nothing, because everyone's insufferable and because this story has been bad at every turn. And I don't think it needs a blow off. You can just not do it anymore because it's bad and just have Scorpio Sky be a good champion rather than getting dragged down with all of this Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, Frankie Kazarian stuff. Just stop with all of this. It just needs a hard reset.
But he said in his promo, I think they know, because the fact that Scorpio Sky said in the promo, this is it. If you guys lose, this is over. Nothing. That's kind of making me scared, because I do want Paige Van Zandt to win her debut match because she's in the mixed tag. So that means they won't get a rematch. But sorry, they got an LA show coming. It's been kind of predicted that Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian are going to main event that show. It's been hypothesized. It hasn't been confirmed. So for them to beat Frankie, that means Frankie won't get a title shot, which will kind of be a deflating way to end his storyline. Great for Sami. You know, Sami and Tay have been there for too long. They're kind of like a bad stink, bad smell. It's kind of like put that in a washing machine. You've been wearing that for too long. But Frankie, he needs a great conclusion because that storyline is still kind of running, even though people don't really care as much.
I mean, Scorpio beat him clean. Well,
clean-ish. Clean, yeah. Clean. Yeah, he was clean.
But like he beat him. I feel like that is actually done. Like, you can move on. It's okay. He can, like, if he wants to build himself back up, get another bunch of wins in a couple months, come back and try and challenge again. That's cool. But, like, not now, because he hasn't really done anything to deserve another title shot. It's
just sad. Frankie's been winning, guys, just not on the show that counts.
Right? Not on any of the shows that anyone actually watches.
Yeah, the Elite Hunter's been winning other places. And
yeah, exactly.
It's a fresh face. I mean, you can't. I know Darby Allin may come up again, may appear for the title.
Sure.
But it's good to give a veteran like Frankie an opportunity. But then again, Frankie has suffered like what everyone else has suffered. It's a bloated roster with not enough time for everyone to get their piece in. So that's why people are really kind of disconnected from Frankie Kazarian. Like, yeah, he's a veteran, but what has he done for me lately? He just loses all the time, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then we had the main event that we already spoke about. Overall, I thought this was a fun show. A lot of the wrestling was really, really good. I don't think it particularly built the show like it should. Like I've said, I have my grievances with, I feel like go-home shows should really be the final thing to be like, yes, I can't wait for the show. And this show was like, yeah, it's got some good matches on it. And like, that's it. It's not like I can't wait for Double or Nothing kind of like, yeah, let's go. I'm so excited kind of thing. This was fine.
Yeah, it was
like a high 3 out of 5 for Rampage's standards. Like a high 3 out of 5-ish is where I'm going to go.
Yeah, it was a 3 out of 5. I agree. It was just like it's just another Rampage episode. You wouldn't even tell it was a go home show if it wasn't for the promo at the end by Ruby Soho to Britt Baker. So yeah, but I'm actually looking forward to the tournament finals. I know the reaction Ruby Soho got. I hope it doesn't carry over to the pay-per-view. If it does, then I have the issue. Because Ruby Soho is the hero. Britt Baker is the one that everyone's tired of seeing win a lot. It should have been Toni Storm and Ruby Soho in the finals. But anyway.
That would have been really good. Though I do think people would have cheered Toni over Ruby in that scenario.
That's okay.
I think people would have wanted Toni to win more, but
well, yeah, I guess that's why Britt Baker wins. See, double-edged sword. You can't win it either way. Either way is a bad choice. So,
exactly, yeah. Anyway, let's talk about SmackDown now.
SmackDown.
Which I have less to talk about. Nope, that's a lie. I have so much more to talk about, but I don't want to, so I won't. Because
no,
not
we
a lot
get
of
paid to do this. We even got Ultrachats and everything. This is our job. No peak. There's no time off. This is why I guest star sometimes. Let's do this.
This show isn't running short. We're already 40 minutes in. It's supposed to be an hour. We're already going to go over time. I'm just not going to do my full thoughts because we will be here for 7 hours if I say my full thoughts about the show because I have thoughts. All right.
Do it. I mean, that's what people come here for. They come to here, they want something. They're like, I wonder what Pete feels about this. I don't like this. I wonder what Pete's gonna say. So you're gonna give him the venom, give him the bio about how you feel about SmackDown. SmackDown.
This show started with the Usos coming out, who were very grateful, and they were like, "Thanks, Roman, for letting us win the titles by ourselves." Lol, that's good. Good heel stuff. They didn't, obviously, and they did that. You know the style of promo where you do the fake sincere thing and then you swerve and you go, ha, actually I'm still a heel. Ha 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 ha. This was one of the weakest ones I think I've heard in ages. Because normally when you do this style of promo, you do something like, you know, I'm just so thankful and I realized that I just really wanted to say thank you to no one because I'm great. Or you say something like, you know, I've been looking into myself a lot recently, and I came to this big realization that I didn't need anyone, and I did it all by myself. It's kind of like it flows through in like an actual thing. And what the Usos did here was he said, "Man, I'm just so thankful for all the fans. You know, for 12 years we've been here. Wow, thank you, fans. We're great. You guys have been there the whole time. You've all been so supportive of us. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you." We didn't need anyone. And it's like, that doesn't match up with anything that you just said. You've just done a face promo and then done a heel promo with no link between the two. It doesn't make any sense. This really annoyed me. There's such a little bugbear, tiny little bit of this promo, but it really annoyed me.
Main event Jey Uso with a heartfelt promo. I really, really felt that promo. It was really good.
Yeah.
You're right. In the end, it was Jimmy who had the epiphany. It's like, nah, we never really needed you guys. We did it by ourselves. Yeah, but what also made the promo awkward was them waiting for the Uso chants. Do you see them? They're waiting for like nearly a minute. It's like, I finished my promo. Where's the chance? Where's the chance? Where's the chance? Where's
Come on,
the
crowd.
chance? Where's the chance? The chance bombing every minute, and the chance come through. Now Uso, and we never need that. Like that part was awkward because the chance didn't come in as quickly as it should, guys. You were not controlled as you should have been. They should have piped in the chance. That's when they should have piped in the chance. That's when it should have happened.
I thought this was a bad surprise reveal promo. And yes, Jay's the one that did the heartfelt thing and Jimmy did the surprise reveal, but there was no like conflict between it. It wasn't like Jay wasn't expecting Jimmy. It's like Jay was in on it the whole time. They knew what they were doing. It's just,
the way you explained it, I understand now. Because when you first said, I didn't like that, I was like, what? It's the standard, swerve promo. But then when you explained how it flows, you're right. It did not flow at all. Yeah, it fell apart. You're right on that part.
Yes. But I thought this next bit actually had some good potential. Shinsuke came out, Shinsuke Nakamura interrupted, and he said, me and my tag partner, we want a title match for those titles, for the undisputed tag titles that you've won. And the Usos were like, what? Rick Boogs, that guy who got injured at WrestleMania? Lol, no. And he's like, actually, it's someone else. Out comes Riddle. And I was like, okay, this has got some legs, because Riddle, obviously Randy Orton is now injured, Rick Boogs is injured, both courtesy of the Usos, sort of, not really, but just let's just go with it in story, courtesy of the Usos, that makes sense. So now they've kind of found each other as part of this tag team, and they just want to dethrone the Usos more than anything. Riddle's still fighting for Randy, Nakamura's still fighting for Boogs, but they just need to get those tag titles together. That's fun. They have a little brawl, babyfaces stand tall. I really like this pairing for the storyline at the very least. I think this is a really interesting pairing, and then they did a backstage promo later, which I was less of a fan of because it took some of the intrigue away from me. But that's not the point. This segment was good.
The Knuckle Bros, whoever they're going to call themselves.
that bit was funny. That bit was fine. It was just like, I was like, okay, well, how's Randy going to feel about this? Riddle has immediately started tagging with someone else going for the titles that him and Orton just lost. How's Randy going to feel about this?
Yeah,
and then Riddle was like, it's Randy's idea. I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, no, that's fine.
I get what you mean. They should have saved that reveal for next week's SmackDown. But I like it for the simple fact that Shinsuke Nakamura was someone they hinted could potentially feud with Roman Reigns. Heck, there's reports that Riddle was going to face Roman Reigns at probably Money in the Bank, and that's not going to happen now. So Riddle is on his quest for vengeance. He is the bloodline hunter, as he deemed himself on Monday Night Raw. So he can do everything in his power to ruin the bloodline. So him teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura, who got pinged in the ballsack by Roman Reigns, never got his revenge. Got pinged, and then he slapped up Sami Zayn, and that's it. So this is a great opportunity for Nakamura to get some sort of revenge, but I don't think they're going to win because I feel like they teased another team forming later on.
Yeah, I like this opening segment though. This was good. We got that backstage promo was Riddle just saying it was Randy's idea for me to team with Nakamura because I think it was Kato Braxton that said like, what would Randy think about this? And for me, I would have much preferred they left that vague, that we don't know what Randy feels. And maybe there's some sort of conflict that Riddle goes through. It's like, man, like I really want to get these tag titles, but I want to win them with Randy. But now I'm teaming with Shinsuke, and like I know why I'm doing it, and I'm fighting for Randy, and Randy can't be here right now, but man, I really miss that guy, or whatever. Or maybe Riddle's lying. Maybe it wasn't Randy's idea.
Ooh. Intriguing.
Intriguing. So there is a little bit of intrigue, but I would much rather they'd have played up the possibility that Riddle could be lying, because he just said it was Randy's idea, and they went, okay. And everyone just believes him. It's like, I guess I'm supposed to believe you too. Cool. But anyway, we then got Okay, Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey. Now, I really liked when Raquel Rodriguez faced her before because open challenge, Raquel came out completely unexpected. She looked great in the match, ton of offense. It's something completely different from what we've seen from like Ronda matches in the past and stuff like that. Raquel looked really good. So WWE were like, we're gonna have a championship contenders match with these again. Like,
your favorite?
why?
I wrote it down. I put down Pete Special.
Like what? You did such a good job in the last match of making her look like someone who needs to get some more wins behind her, get a bit more experience, and then she can win the title down the line. To then immediately just go, she deserves another shot. It's like, but why? But why does she deserve another shot?
WWE.
She lost.
It's like experience. I don't know her. Just frustrated. Even though I feel like Raquel Rodriguez has come a long way away. I mean, Pete should know because he used to review her a lot on NXT, so you know how much she's come. Even she did that twisting corkscrew at one moment, in the corner. That's something she never did before. So I feel like Raquel Rodriguez has come up leaps and bounds. I agree with you. Championship contender matches are the death knell. It's like, why beat the champion? You should be the champion. If you beat the champion, it doesn't make sense. But the match didn't last too long though. So technically, was it really a match?
Yeah, the match didn't last too long. So, as Raquel's making her entrance, we cut backstage. Shotzi is trying to rile up the women's locker room. And she says, we need to put a stop to this. Why is she getting another opportunity before the rest of us? One, good point. And two, fine. Shotzi then says, look, Xia Li, you're undefeated in WWE. And I was like,
matches.
No, you're not. That's a lie. She's been in NXT. She has lost many, many times in NXT.
That's not canon. That's not canon.
She said in WWE. She didn't say on SmackDown. She said in WWE, Sat. That counts.
NXT don't count in WWE. They're just developmental.
But also, Shotzi's beaten her at a live show once. I looked it up on Cage Match because I was really curious as to when Xia Li had lost. And Shotzi herself has beaten her on a live show.
Right. But it does highlight how they do have women in the women's division. They just don't push. These are all the toys. It's kind of like Toy Story. These are all the forgotten toys in that locker room. Is all the forgotten toys. Leo, do you remember when you were a thing and you won the match very, very quickly? Nope. And he's like, Xia Li, do you remember when you were the protector for 2 seconds? Nope. Shayna Baszler, do you remember when you were relevant? Nope. Natalya, do you know you've been here for a long time? Yep.
Yes. Yes, I do know that.
She went, yep.
Oh, God,
Shotzi's like, do you remember me? I used to be popular in NXT, and I came to the main roster, done nothing.
Yeah.
And they did something. You know what? People like Shotzi and Gulak, they're the people we complain about. Do more with them. And they kind of are doing something because camera time is currency. Eating and catering and getting camera time is no currency. So they looks like they're doing something there. We don't know what that thing is, but it's something. Raquel Rodriguez versus Shotzi. Squash match, who knows?
Yeah, something, anything. But yeah, Shotzi speaks to all the women. Aaliyah tells her to shut up. Xia Li walks off. And Shayna Baszler and Natalya are like, we should do something in this match. And then cuts away. We get the Riddle and Nakamura promo. It cuts back to the women's locker room again. And then they're like, let's go interfere in this match. They go. Shotzi doubles back to pick up her helmet. Very important, of course. Really needs that.
Of course.
And in that time that she's done a very quick double back to grab her helmet, the door's been shut and it's been locked by Aaliyah on the outside. I have several questions.
Go.
Why does Aaliyah have the key? How does she get that?
She probably knows the groundskeeper of the building. You'd be like, hey, mate, how's it going? I was locked in a locker room once. How do I get out of this situation? Smart baby face for once. Gotta give her that.
Clearly that. In the time frame where it took from Shayna Baszler and Natalya to leave to Shotzi leaving, that means that Aaliyah then had to shut the door and lock it in the time that she was done, and then set up something on the outside of the room. I just hit my mic. She set something up on the outside of the room where she was sitting so she could twirl the key around for the camera that was obviously there for some reason.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what? I could maybe buy that. The time frame I think is reasonable enough to shut the door and lock it. Just about. It's fine. In that time frame, though, Shayna Baszler and Natalya would have walked past Aaliyah, who was on the outside, and just gone, yeah, all right, and then just carried on.
Possibly so. They're not teams. They may be heels, but heels shouldn't trust each other. I get what you mean. In real life logic, Pete is applying real life logic in wrestling, which will never work. It will give you momentary attacks, stress, headaches, cold sweats. So don't put real life logic into the whole situation. Dude, WWE logic. Dude, Vince McMahon logic. God damn it. He doesn't care. Shayna doesn't care. Natalya doesn't care. They're going there because they're riled up. They're going to get mess up the title contender match. So they're like, Shotzi, you can handle it yourself. So that's what I'm going with. But real life logic, you're right. Real life logic doesn't work here.
It's like if they get rolled up by Shotzi and then they watch Shotzi getting locked in a locker room, they'd be like, hey, do you want to unlock that so Shotzi can come with us? Like, I'm getting too caught up on this. It's fine. They obviously caused a DQ in the match very, very quickly. And cut to an ad break, come back. It's a tag team match. Player Rodriguez and Rousey versus Baszler and Natalya. And all the stuff that I mentioned before about what made Rodriguez look great in her match against Rousey before, all of that was gone in this match because they have to stick to their formula of Rodriguez gets beaten over so Rousey can have a hot tag. And it's like, just get out of your formula for 1 minute. Just keep some of the good stuff that you had before. Just really wound me up.
It's not going to happen because Vince McMahon is a 70-year-old man or whatever. He is never going to change. If Vince ain't going to change his logic now or then, now, forever. So expect the same thing then, now, forever. I'm sorry, Pete. Like I said, real life logic will never work. I've resigned to the fact that WWE has reached that point where they don't care anymore. Vince McMahon knows he's got one foot somewhere very, very hot, possibly. And he knows he's going to take all the money inside the casket with him. So for him, he doesn't care anymore. This guy's checked out. He checked out so hard. All he cares about is getting that money, doing his Crown Jewel shows, doing, record numbers, budget cuts. He doesn't care anymore. The passion's not there. So it reflects on the product, unfortunately. So this is what happens when the guy in charge doesn't really care. He's like, yeah, I'm going to sell it soon.
Rodriguez got the pin in the end, which is good. This match was nothing.
My only gripe is the fact that since Ronda's come back, they have not mentioned the fact that Natalya was her original trainer. So even though they did the whole tease between Shayna and Ronda, and they purposely made sure they didn't fight, and I knocked into my mic, they potentially are sowing seeds for a Shayna Ronda match, which I look forward to, but I don't know if storyline-wise they'll be able to do them justice. But yeah, Natalya trained Ronda, but there's no mention of that. There's no mention of how you were my friend, which Natalya likes to say every other 6 months when she gets a new partner. Yeah,
it sure does. It's all about friends when it comes to the women's division. They mentioned that Money in the Bank is moving. It's moving to the intimate confines of the MGM Grand Arena. Ugh. Good save there, Michael Cole. New Day cut a promo saying their special guest partner could be anyone. Sure. Got a recap of Corbin attacking Moss. Couldn't care less. And then we got... I think this is the worst thing on the show.
No, I liked it.
There was some really bad things on the show. I think this was the worst.
I'm going to join in.
Los Lotharios versus Jinder Mahal and Shankey. If you can't tell this is a filler show, good God, this match tells you it. Los Lotharios come out. Jinder Mahal's music hits. Nobody comes out. Cuts to backstage. Jinder Mahal can't find Shankey anywhere. Where is this guy? He's opening doors, can't find him. And then he goes into a certain room where Shankey's in there, listening to their own entrance music and dancing.
Like this, right?
So Jinder's like, we have a match. Grabs him. He's like, come on, let's go. We have a, like right now, we have a match. Let's go. They go out. And then the music hits again. And then they just come out like normal. And then this match was really bad. This match was, for some reason, centered around who could be more sexually aggressive towards the ring announcer.
Ricochet's bird.
Yeah, literally.
That's Ricochet's girlfriend as well. So where's Ricochet? It's like, why are they attracting your partner? Why are they trapping her in the corner? To be honest, Pete, there was a reason. WWE logic. So This match wasn't a match. This was a storyline advancing the plot. Lotharios get some wins, yay. But Shankey is going under the WWE trope of silly, foolish giant. You know, they do that all the time. They have killer wrestlers, even though Shankey never came into a company as a killer wrestler. They did it to Great Khali. They did it to Mark Henry. They did it to Vladimir Kozlov, where you start off as a killer, then you turn into a joke. So Shankey is in the midst of a character change. His character is going to be a dancing fool. Everyone likes a dancing fool. And there was some Shankey chants. There was a Shankey chants.
That's incorrect, Sad. You say that everyone likes a dancing giant, dancing fool. That is incorrect.
No,
they don't.
Yeah, you like it, Shankey. Oh, you
really don't.
Pete's lying. Pete was dancing at home. Pete was like, yeah, that's Shankey. He's got them moves. Shankey was giving you those moves. So Shankey and Jinder are going to break up. This is just plant seeds of that breakup. So it had a reason, guys. It may look silly. It may look foolish, but WWE's about entertainment. Shankey's going to be chasing after that 24/7 title in no time. Shankey.
Sat.
Yes.
You say that WWE's about entertainment. It needs to be entertaining.
That's a whole different story, but yeah, E's for entertainment. E's for entertainment right now. Shankey, yes.
They're trying to turn Shankey face. This match was really bad because it was Angel Garza being a massive creep to the ring announcer and dancing to her to try and attract her, and then ripping his trousers off, which isn't problematic at all. And then Shankey, in order to save the ring announcer, beat up Angel Garza and then did the same thing he was doing to her and was still trying to attract her by dancing to it. It's just stop it. Just stop all of this. It's really bad. And then Jinder got annoyed because he got pinned in all of the sexual aggression that was happening. Jinder got pinned, and then he got mad at Shankey, and then Shankey was like, no, go away. And then just Jinder stormed off, and then he did some more dancing, and I just hated all of it. All of it sucked. All of these characters are stupid. They're all morons. No one looked good coming out of this, and just Shankey doing a little dance at the end of it is not going to endear Shankey to anybody because it's stupid.
Pete, this is great. You're going to review it next week, a week after that, and Shankey's going to grow into a cult favorite. You ain't going to have no choice but to like it. Shankey.
Max Dupree is on SmackDown. He's got Max male models, and Adam Pearce was like, you have a contract. Crazy. Welcome to SmackDown.
Pete, it's Max Dupree. Come on, get a Dupree. Max Dupree. Come on, Pete.
The thing is, Sat, that could genuinely get over if it wasn't for Pat McAfee. I hate it so much. Anytime Pat says it now, I'm like, Pat, shut up. He annoys me so much.
What? Pete, what's wrong with you? No one hates Pat McAfee. He's a
Everyone hates Pat McAfee.
Nobody hates Pat McAfee. He's not like the other guy, Corey Graves, who tries too hard. He tries to be what Pat McAfee is. Great. So yeah, Max Dupree. Max, I want to be a maximum male model. I think I got what it takes. Don't have to shave the beard. I do. But yeah, Max Dupree. Pete, remember Dupree?
You're not helping me today, man.
No, I can't. Listen, I try to find the funniness and the foolishness. Max Dupree, he's gonna have some models. It's gonna be fun. That's plot advancement. That is advancing the plot.
Fun.
Unfortunately, he said maximum males. I wish it was just maximum models, so you can have some females in the group, like a Leah or someone is struggling to get TV time. So yeah, maximum male model. Remember, it's Max Dupree. Like Eva Marie, but Max Dupree.
I want Tempest on the show back. After this, we had KO show. Kevin Owens had popped over from Raw, and he said he's going to be his guest is going to be someone from the Bloodline. Could it be Roman Reigns? Could it be the Usos? Could it be Paul Heyman? I was like, it's going to be Sami Zayn, isn't it? It's going to be Sami Zayn, and they didn't disappoint. It was Sami Zayn, and which was great. And came out, and of course they were getting along all the time of just being like him saying, Elias and Ezekiel, clearly the same person. And Kevin Owens was like, immediately was like, went in for a hug, and it was just like he was so overwhelmed with emotion, and he was saying, that you are the advisors of the Bloodline. It's really great what you're doing here and all that stuff. But then tensions flared up when Kevin Owens said, you have to come back with me to Raw so we can sort out this Elias Ezekiel thing. And we can show everybody that he's an idiot. And Sami was like, can't do that. I need to stay on SmackDown. SmackDown needs me. The Bloodline really needs me. tensions flared up. Things went back and forth, and then these two guys are so funny. Where Sami Zayn, they were calling each other a liar and a moron, because Sami was saying that, I lied earlier. Elias and Ezekiel were clearly different people. You're crazy. And there's photos of them together. There's no way that they're the same person. And Owens is saying the Bloodline's just using you. They don't even care about you. True. You're delusional, all that stuff. You're a moron. And then Sami Zayn calls him a liar. And then liar, moron, liar, moron. And he goes, liar, liar, pants on fire. And Kevin Owens is like, that's too far. And Sami Zayn goes, you're right, I apologize. And I was like, these guys are just so naturally, charismatically funny. It's brilliant. Owens says, and to prove that the Bloodline don't care about you, I'm going to ask him to come out on the show right now. Hey, Bloodline, come on out, guys. And Sami's like, just in denial. He's like, well, give him a minute. Clearly they're busy, and then he just refuses to see it that way. And Owens is like, they don't care about you. I care about you. They don't care about you. The Bloodline's taking you for a fool. Sami tries to walk away and he's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be dealing with this anymore. Goes out the ring. Kevin Owens comes out to stop him on the ramp, holds out a hand, and Sami just turns around and pushes him into the barricade, just walks off and storms out. And Kevin Owens is like, damn it, I just wanted to reconcile with my friend. What am I doing? Went back in the ring and took out his frustrations by stunnering people in the ring. Why is this the best character development they've done in so long? This was a brilliant segment. And I was like, these are for your comedy characters. Why don't you do this for actual characters that you care about more? This is weird.
Comedy characters? Okay, they have layers, Pete. So the chemistry between KO and Sami Zayn is magical. It's like watching a sitcom. And even like the jokes, right? So this is my theory, my hypothesis of what we just saw. Kevin Owens is currently feuding with Ezekiel. But I don't see this as a three-match feud, a three-match arc. They're going to do Hell in a Cell, put Ezekiel over, because Kevin Owens is one of those guys he can lose and still be over.
Sure.
Sami Zayn's hanging up with the Bloodline. Sami Zayn's been a heel for quite a while, to the point where Kevin Owens had a babyface turn and a heel turn in between that heel run of Sami Zayn. Yeah. So Sami Zayn's conspiracy characters played out, so they're putting with the Bloodline right now, or adjacent, the Disco Inferno to the Wolfpack kind of thing. If you watch that,
sure,
you get the analogy. I think this is the beginning of Sami Zayn face turn and Kevin Owens 10,000 face turn. I think KO and Sami Zayn are going to face the Usos at SummerSlam for the title. This is what it's going to build to, because KO said in interviews he wants to tag titles with Sami Zayn. Like, that's the one thing he hasn't done yet in WWE. They've been tag champions in, PWG, ROH, so forth, wherever you name it, they've done it. In WWE law, they've never been tag champions. They've feuded, they've beaten each other up. Heck, in that promo, in that segment, they fell out and made up multiple times. So them re-signing with the company, them being the MVPs of WrestleMania. I mean, Kevin Owens, he main evented WrestleMania. The Jackass match for Sami Zayn. These two guys, they were the MVPs of WrestleMania. So this could be their thank you from Vince, saying, hey, you stuck with the company. You didn't go all elite. You always want to be tag team partners. We don't have any credible tag teams at the moment, unfortunately. So, you guys, tag champions at SummerSlam. Hopefully, not Money in the Bank, because I don't know. It could be Money in the Bank if they rush it. You don't know Vince's temperament. But let's see where it goes. That's my theory. Because the way the segment went later, that makes me think Sami's turning babyface.
Yeah. I would honestly really love to see that. And I'd also like to clarify that when I say that they are comedy characters, I mean how they're being portrayed right now.
Yeah,
I know they are incredible wrestlers and they've been serious in the past and they are fantastic. I just saw a couple of people in the live chat being like, they're very good wrestlers. They're not comedy characters. Like,
no. And I get what you mean.
The way they're being portrayed right now.
Oh, I agree.
They are
it's kind of like
in their
they are like Jerry Lawler in 95, 96, because Jerry Lawler was known in Memphis and other companies as a legend. And if you watch WWE, like I did my research later on and so forth to know more about him. But all this guy was a comedy character, a comedy heel, if you say. Yeah, Sami Zayn has not been taken as a threat for the longest time. Since his feud with Shane, that's how long it's been. Since his feud with Shane and Daniel Bryan, that's been how long it's been. So yeah, at the moment, he's a comedy heel, but when he turns babyface, like WWE, like Men in Black, look into this pen. He was never a loser. He never lost. He's now a credible face to face Roman Reigns, maybe, or something.
Yep, perfect. I honestly would really love to see these guys team together and go after tag titles. I think that's a really fun program. I'd really like that. I'd love for them to come together again. That'd be amazing. We got a recap of Sheamus, Holland, and Butch. Don't care. We then got Ricochet and Drew Gulak versus Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. The first time we've seen Ludwig on the main roster in a match. I thought he looked fine. This was a tag match. It was okay. He won with a kick.
A PK, if you will.
All right. Yeah. A penalty kick. All right. Cool. If it's leading to Walter becoming Intercontinental Champion, great.
No, actually, this match was more to establish Ludwig Kaiser because he's the one who got the victory. If Walter got the victory on Ricochet, then you can argue this is the setup for the Intercontinental title, which they may be doing because the title is near the hemisphere of Gunther. But I think it's more to establish Ludwig Kaiser and probably Vince McMahon. He's like, forget the anorexic chubby one. I want the one with the abs. He's the one. I mean, he's the one cutting the promos. He's the one with the abs. But even though Gunther is in great shape, you know, in Vince, he'd be like, nope, it's Kaiser. He's the man. It's him.
I still think what was going to be IC champ. Maybe not a Hell in a Cell, but maybe down the line.
I think
Money in the Bank or something.
Gunther. Walter was a chubby one. Gunther's got abs.
Sure does. Sami Zayn is backstage with the Usos, essentially pleading with them, being like, you know, what Kevin Owens was saying was really getting to me. Like, you know, I just want to know, what am I to you? You know, how important am I to you? What does this mean? And he's like, I really just want to be an honorary member of the Bloodline. And they were like, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And yeah, of course you are. And he was like,
it was Jimmy.
You know,
actually,
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
It was Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jay was like, how do I get rid of this guy? You know, when you're like, I can't wait to go home and ghost your text messages. That's what it looked like in his face. Like, yeah, that for me, I don't know about you, Pete, because you're watching it. You're like, where's the storyline going to go? All right. Is Sami Zayn going to get beaten up by the Bloodline and still be booed? I feel like they're going to beat him up so hard that when he comes back, Kevin Owens want to defend his honor. That's his best mate. I think it is. I'm hoping, because I could be wrong. We could this segment could be a throwaway segment where we never talk about this ever again. But I assume that Kevin Owens being there, who has history, by the way, with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns beat him multiple times, trucked him off the stage, beat him in the last man standing match. So long-term storyline booking. This guy gets revenge, not on the chief, but on the underlings. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, potentially. This is a thing. The tag titles are nothing right now. They need challengers.
Yeah.
Give it to Sami and KO.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. We then had the main event, sort of, where we got to the Brawling Brutes entering. Then we had an ad break. Then we had a Memorial Day tribute. Then we had a Sheamus promo that was really long and didn't say anything. Then we had Woods and Kingston coming out and doing a promo that was also very long and didn't actually say much. And then it got revealed that Drew McIntyre was their partner. Cool. For some reason, no one knew who Moby Dick was. Weird.
Moby I think like Butch has got beef with Moby Dick. That's why he had a look on his face. He's having a flashback. But yeah, the Brawling Brutes. Brawling Brutes. I wrote down the Brawling Boots. The Brawling Boots, because Brawling Boots is a description, not a tag name. APA, they're Brawling Brutes. You know what I'm saying? You know, Road Warriors, they're Brawling Brutes. These guys, it could be Fight Night, Sheamus and Friends.
Sheamus and Friends. I'll take that.
You know, something, but the Brawling Brutes, that's like the chuckling lads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Not good.
They just gave up halfway. He goes, you know what these guys are? Brawling Brutes. Get out of here. That's it.
Did you hear the other names that they trademarked for them before they settled on Brawling Brutes?
No.
They were going to be the Bloody Brutes to start with. And then they were going to be what was the other one? Someone else that began with a B. There's Bloody Brutes, and then there was something else. I can't remember.
I don't mind Bloody Brutes because I can hear a grandmother. It's late at night. You got Butch in the alley knocking over cans and bins and stuff like that. Those bloody brutes. Yeah, those bloody brutes.
I prefer it to Brawling Brutes. For sure.
Because kind of like the police comes up. So what were they doing? They're just a few Brawling Brutes. It's like it's a description. Yeah. It's not a name. It's kind of like 4 guys in a group. Yeah. If it was evolution, instead of evolution, 4 guys in a group.
In fairness, there is a restaurant called Five Guys, which, like, come on, lads. It's not really a name, is it? Anyway, by the way, we weren't done. We haven't got to the match yet because it's an ad break. Then we get a promo for Money in the Bank. Then we get advertising a match for Raw, which is Riddle and Nakamura having a championship contenders match against the Usos. Then we got Madcap Moss coming back next week. And then the match starts. I mean, Jesus Christ. Guys, sort out your pacing. I've not talked about pacing on SmackDown for ages because I haven't felt the need to, because it's been still really bad, but not particularly egregious. This is egregious. Stop it. My God. Anyway, this match was fine. It got fun by the end. Lots of people doing big moves at the end of it, but it was all right. Drew McIntyre hit the Claymore onto Ridge Holland. Then he tagged in Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods does his big elbow drop, gets the pin. And this is exactly what Adam did in his latest fantasy booking video about how he'd build up Xavier Woods to beat Roman Reigns. This is exactly how it started. So I guess that's where we're going. They've seen the video and gone, that's a great idea. We'll do that. And now they've just hijacked Adam's booking. Maybe that's what it is.
I felt like Sheamus is forever underrated. This guy and Drew Day, as they collectively were called by Pat McAfee. I got a question, Pete, since you don't like Pat. Drew Day, like that line from Pat?
Well, it's actually stolen from Adam's booking as well. So
really,
you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ridgy the Fridgy. Did you like that?
Hated it.
What? Come on. So you don't like Pat McAfee at all?
Like... He has some good times when he says, like, there's times when Pat McAfee will just throw out a line and it just catches you off guard and you go, that's pretty funny, that's good. He is constantly at 110%. And sometimes you just need to be like, Pat, just tone it down just a little bit, Pat. Just calm down, because he's constantly just shouting and screaming, and he's so excited about everything all the time. It's like, Pat, just
sounds like me.
Stop.
I'm constantly excited and about everything.
But you have flows, and you get excited, and then you come down, and then you can talk about your point a little bit, and then you get excited again. Whereas Pat is just constantly at the high. It's like, Pat, just calm down. It's okay, bud. It's fine.
I get what you mean. But I think that's what makes him great, because you can't smell the stench of Vince shouting in his ear.
It's fair.
The most episodic, the most episodic show around. You see what he does. Vince beats you to submission, and you just like, I know what you mean, but I like the fact you can tell that is minimal management with him. It's Pat McAfee. I understand what you mean. It can be a bit Marmite sometimes with his reaction. Maybe you want a little quiet time. Maybe you want him to be a bit solemn, but that's not who he is. And I know what you mean. For a usual wrestling commentator, 110%. I get you. You need to have your ups and your downs. But it's Pat McAfee. He likes to go up and up and up and up and up and up.
Up. The Pat McAfee show. Woods got pinned. That was main event. That was the whole show. Thought it was pretty bad. I thought overall the wrestling on this show was at best fine, and a lot of the segments were not very good. I give this a low 2 out of 5. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was delightful, and that was about it on this show.
Also, out of 5 we're rating it on, right? Out of 5 we're rating it. I'm giving this a 3 for the simple reason that KO and Sami Zayn, they saved the show. Sami Zayn's character work is impeccable. Kevin Owens' character work has always been impeccable, but I feel like this year KO has just gone leaps and bounds, because this is a man, when he first appeared on the main roster, he was a killer. He beat John Cena in his first pay-per-view match. He stepped on the US title. Kevin Owens was a guy, you can't trust him, you can't be friends with him. But lately, he's showing his vulnerable side, his paranoid side, a side of his. You saw him breaking down with his friends, saying, "Hey, am I going crazy? I'm being gaslit. This guy is Elias shaved. Like, please help me." And then Sammy's like, "Nah, I'm hanging in the main event scene. I'm hanging out with a needle mover. Unfortunately, your thing's not really my kind of cup of tea." So I'm hoping this is actually a genius beginning to a tag title feud, because if it is, it'll be one of the best storylines they've done this year.
Yeah, I agree, and it's that character work in their segment that elevated this from a 1 to a 2 for me, because otherwise, this is a bad show. Anyway. Before we get into the rest of your Ultrachats, do we have shout-outs today? I feel like we do. We do! I've not linked them to you, have I, Sam? I'm going to link them to you now. We've got our Patreon shout-outs for our $25 and above Pledgehammers over on our Patreon page.
Sorry, you linked. Is it? Did you? Oh, now I see it. Oh, it's on my phone. Okay,
Now
cool,
you
cool.
see it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna shut my mouth.
Yeah.
Do your thing. He said do his thing.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Also, I'm actually going to do a very quick live update on this thing. Hold on. Let me get a live update of our Patreon numbers because I want to double check this. You should go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now because as of this second right now, we're on 1,498 backers. We are 2 backers away from 1,500 backers, which will be the first time we've ever hit that milestone ever. So if you really want to help me out, because I'm the one that's in charge of the Patreon, so if you want to make me look good, go support the Patreon right now. There is so much content over there. We've got CBW episode 2 is coming out in a couple of hours, and you're going to have the exclusive podcast with Adam and Tom and special guest, who I won't say, just in case you've not seen episode 1. Just go check that out. It's going to be a really fun podcast. You've got WrestleTalk Extra, which is Judgment Day 2002 for this for this month, which is Luke and I reviewing that, which is really, really fun. You got Wrestle League is going on right now. You can submit your predictions for Double or Nothing. There's so much content over on our Patreon page. It's kind of absurd. And also, we're going to be putting more content out soon as well. I've got ideas for stuff on the Patreon page. Go check it out. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. And if you pledge at the $25 or above tier, you get your own custom wrestling nickname, and it gets read out on a show much like this one. So thank you to Arnie K. The K stands for the coolest dude ever. Thank you. You do the next one.
Oh, and also the batsman, Nathan Batty.
I think you missed one, but I'll do it. Ron Turner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Golden John Molden.
Smitten Aaron Smith.
Colin McLeaner than Finn Balor.
He is leaner than Finn Balor. It's pretty lean. Shawn Michaels' biggest fan, Brett Guy. Yeah. What a great nickname. You're welcome, everyone.
At insert to AEW confirmed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Tempest. That's why he's not here.
Maybe it's Tempest, yeah. Have an argy bargy, Margie Pargy. Yeah. Great name.
General Jimmy G.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All of our Pledgehammers on our Patreon page. I'm going to keep checking this number in case it gets updated. You guys should really go and join. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. It's going to be great because I really want to hit 1,500. Please, let's hit 1,500 by the time this episode is finished. We're going to get into the last of your Ultra Chats here. Keep sending those into WrestleTalk.com/support. Last chance to get those in. Goodness me, that Ultra Chat doc is colorful today. Anyway. On the subject of Rampage, Hannah Allen says, love this Rampage. Regal on commentary is so much fun. The joke about Octopus, Chef's Kiss, lol. Buck's swerve was brilliant. The third to second rope sell, hilarious. Also loving this acclaimed Gun Club stuff. Pro wrestling done right. Lots of love. Hashtag LOW444 life. I agree. It's a good Rampage.
I agree too.
Shannon Smith said, why is Ruby on Dark? Ruby should be on TV. Ruby needs to be pushed. Tony, okay, let's have a go over. Why did Ruby win? Why is Ruby going on pay-per-view? Stat should have won. Lol, can't win either way.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what we just said. That's what I said. That's what I said. Don't listen to the fans in Las Vegas. Listen to yourself.
CK Mirth said, hello, Pete. I understand you saying this wasn't a great go-home Rampage. Just wanted to give you another take. Knowing the matches for the pay-per-view already, Rampage just got me excited all the more. The matches were amazing, and it, well, mojoed me up. I understand. I feel like if you'd just done more, I don't know, video packages, stuff to actually hype the matches that you're going to be watching on the pay-per-view, it would have been more of a hype thing. I know video packages aren't great for a live crowd, and obviously you need matches and stuff like that. I'm not saying the whole show should have been video packages, because that's insane. But you could have saved like a couple of big angles and done it on this Rampage, is what I mean. But that's okay. Tails P said, no Rampage has ever felt more like a Sunday night heat. It even had Gangrel and Billy Gunn. The new matches being added to the predictions. Also, being being the Bay Area boy that I am, I hate Sky's LA Lakers belt so much. I actually booed out loud.
There you go.
The extra matches will not be added to the predictions just because it's a bit of a late turnaround to everyone to get their predictions in. So no, they won't be added to Wrestle League. Hey, Wrestle League, that's the thing you can get on our Patreon page, patreon.com/WrestleTalk. I'm still going to update these numbers. Please let me hit 1,500 by the time the show ends. Legit Underboss said, since Sami stole Jorge Masvidal's BMF title, are he and the other MMA fighters going to do a run-in on the match?
They should.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see it.
They
Get him on
should.
pay-per-view.
If I was Dan Lambert, I'll send my whole staff to come down to Double or Nothing to give him a butt whooping.
Totally. Mackie48 said, long-time watcher, first-time Ultra Chatter, thank you so much for the Ultra Chats, was at the SmackDown show. Loudest pop had to go to Drew. Also, Cody was there, but for a dark match. Guess brand split isn't over. Yeah, the brand split is basically non-existent. We had Kevin Owens on this show.
It's a non-monogamous brand split where you can do and go wherever you want.
There it is. Polyamorous. That's what it is.
It's poly. Sharing is caring.
Exactly, yeah. Tails P said, every time Raquel does the twisting Vader bomb, I think of Tiffany Stratton doing it. And every time Stratton does it, Wade Barrett goes, you'll never see anyone else in the WWE do a move like that. Also, why is Aaliyah hanging out with all the heels? Great question.
It's a locker room. They don't have separate male faces locker room. It's not WCW. They all share the same locker room for the women. And for Tiffany Stratton, no one does it like her. She's a former gymnast, so she's got a certain grace about her doing the move. So yeah.
Sure. Whatever you say. Missed from the AEW stream. There's an Ultra Chat that says, with this being the biggest show of the year for AEW, do you see any surprise debuts? Wyatt, Gargano, Cesaro? Also, I'm going to be at the show, my first AEW show ever. Very excited. I hope you have a great time.
Yeah, rubbing it in our faces. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't know if there's going to be any big debuts. I could maybe see like one, maybe two, but I don't think there's going to be any like. I mean, Revolution had a few as well. I could see a couple. I don't know who, but I could see a couple.
I don't know, because I feel like they're making it almost like a reoccurring thing of we're gonna have a pay-per-view show, expect new wrestlers to debut. I mean, they even had Jay Lethal debut in one of their shows. So it could be Claudio. I mean, he's making coffees or whatever he's doing right now, paternity leave or whatever. So yeah, it could be Claudio, it could be Johnny Gargano, it could be Candice LeRae, it could be Johnny Elite finally getting signed, because apparently he did a great job for Tony to be like, this guy might be worth signing. So who knows?
Yeah, totally. And missed from this week's NXT 2.0 stream with Saturn SP3, Tails P said, Stratton and Waller are season 1 Kim and Ron. I don't know who that's referencing.
Kim and Ron. I would have to do some research and get back to them. But yeah, I don't know if you've been watching NXT since you left.
No, not at all.
You haven't. So they've put Grayson Waller and Tiffany Stratton into as a duo. I said duo because there's not a lick of chemistry for it to be anything more, because Tiffany Stratton took Grayson Waller out for shopping. That for me doesn't scream they're going to be a couple, if that makes sense. Just two annoying people being put together. That's what it is. Kim and Ron. I need to research Kim and Ron.
Okay, sounds delightful. I'm glad I don't watch NXT anymore. Jonathan
SmackDown. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim Possible. Sorry, it's Kim Possible. That's the reference. Kim and Ron, because I kept on saying that there's no chemistry between them. That Tiffany should friend zone Grayson Waller if he tries it on with her. So yeah, Kim Possible.
There you go. Jonathan Hedman's been a Menberg for 10 months in a row. Thank you so much. That says, hello, watching later. Do you think AEW would have heels win the first Owen Cup? It feels like the right PR move is good guys win. Thoughts?
Owen Hart was the babyest of babyface, wasn't he? No, he wasn't. He was known majority as a heel in his run. So, and also Martha Hart gets it. Hey, heels, baby faces, it's all part of wrestling. It's about giving the person that deserves it the spot. And it's Adam Cole, baby. And Adam Cole in real life is a nice guy. So
if Adam Cole wins, I don't think it would be the worst thing, especially if you have Ruby Soho win as well on the women's side. I think that'll be fine. If you have both heels win, that might be maybe you should have like a feel good moment. But if you've got Ruby Soho winning the women's one, I think you can have Adam Cole win the men's one. Bakugo was right, has been a member for 11 months. Thank you so much. says, if you've seen it, thoughts on the Obi-Wan series so far? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I may watch it if I ever watch The Mandalorian.
I won't. Peter Mullins has been a member for 7 months, says, this was the first time in ages an AEW Weekly has made me gasp because of a completely wrong booking decision. Feel bad for all involved afterwards. This is obviously regarding the Soho Statlander thing.
How old are you, kid? Like, there's no way a millennial will say that. It has to be someone that's born in even the year 2000 or under, because that is part of the booking. I mean, it's kind of like watching a Bret Hart getting screwed out of the title at WrestleMania by Shawn Michaels or something like that. I mean, yeah, there's no issue. Come on, guys, we're blowing out proportion. It's Ruby Soho. They're acting like, because they don't like her that much. Red Velvet won the whole thing, even though Red Velvet is talented in my mind. They're overblowing it. It's Ruby Soho. We like her. We popped for her when she came out with the Ruby Soho song. Yay, Ruby, free from the shackles of cafeteria food. Lord.
Yep. J.O. Fella has been a member for 3 months. It says, just dropped in to say, hello, lads. So sorry you had to watch that horrible SmackDown, but at least Rampage was killer. IMO. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day, Jay. Thank you so much. And I think that is going to do it for this episode. That's all the Ultrachats. So we have overrun massively. But thank you so much, Sat, for stepping in for this week. I really do appreciate it, mate. If you want to watch more Sat, you can catch him on the NXT reviews every week with SB3 here on this channel, on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. So subscribe and enable notifications if you want those streams, because Sat's great. Anyway, thank you, Sat. Thank you all for watching the show. Really do appreciate it. We've got Double or Nothing live reactions tomorrow with Ollie and Luke, so subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And we've got live reactions to Hell in a Cell next week as well, and predictions for Hell in a Cell next week as well. Goodness me, so much content. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Really do appreciate it. Stay safe. We love you very much. The LIW for life, etc. Goodbye. The jam. Bye. Bye.
Well.